So one of the most common questions that I'm asked is, why do I feel like an imposter? And strangely, it may seem initially, it's most often asked by people who are actually very successful and they've done very well in whatever field they're in. But actually, when you think that imposter syndrome is most common in people in very high performance and challenging and competitive environments, it's not as surprising as it may initially seem. So there's no straightforward answer, but quite often imposter syndrome comes from things that you've experienced as a child, and there are two main scenarios that were initially identified for that. The first one is if you have a very high achieving sibling who's always the successful one, the intelligent one, the one who's going to do well, and your family maybe compliment you for other skills, maybe you're sporty, maybe you're social, or you're artistic, or something that isn't necessarily linked to success in whatever field it is that you've got into as an adult. Basically, you weren't the one who was expected to succeed. Your sibling was the one who was expected to do phenomenally well. And because you want success in your field and it doesn't align with what you were told when you were younger, you fight back against it and you achieve it. But deep down, you still believe that you're not smart. So that must be down to luck, or to people favouring you, or to something else, but not to you. And so you're always expecting to fail. And therefore, you keep pushing yourself and pushing yourself. But nothing's actually proving to you that what your parents or your teachers or whoever put this idea in your head was wrong. So what's actually happening here is you're fighting for an identity that you believe that you don't have. You want it, but you don't actually believe that it's you. And conversely, the other scenario is children whose parents thought they were wonderful and marvelous and amazing and perfect and were always going to achieve everything without any effort, without anything ever going wrong, and that they'd always make things happen. So maybe you excelled at school, but when you go out into the real world and it's tough and you make mistakes, then you start losing faith in yourself and you start losing faith in the people who told you that you were this marvelous person. And every time you get something wrong, or you don't immediately know the answer, or you have to work at something, you feel like you're letting the side down. You don't want to prove the people who valued you wrong, but also it's threatening this identity that you grew up with, that you were, an easy achiever. Every time something's an effort, you feel like an imposter. So in this case, you're fighting for an identity that you feel that you should have, but everything that's difficult is constantly challenging that. Another factor is social stereotyping. So being in a position where you have few peers, so you're looking about for people that you can relate to, but there's probably not many of them. I went through that myself with being women in IT, with being women in management before this was anywhere near as common as it is now. There are factors like race, there are factors like background. So we see people as individuals, identity's individual, but it's also relational. So in your relationships with the people around you who matter to you, and it's social. So if you feel that you're standing out, that you're very different from the people that are around you, it can feel uncomfortable. So you're fighting there for an identity that doesn't gel with either what you believe about yourself and what you should be doing, or what others believe about you. And another factor, of course, is social media, because we look on social media, we see everyone putting out the best picture perfect version of themselves and their life and their business. And it gives you an unrealistic idea of what other people have been through to get where they are. So identity is an avatar online. It's this picture that we create of ourselves, which is what you want to put out and how you want people to see you. And then you're looking at other people's avatars and you're comparing them to your own experience. And that shakes your confidence because you think they've had it easy, they've done better, they're obviously, more talented and capable and successful than you are. And you don't see all the stuff that they don't put online. A lot of this is about identity. Identity is what I do, which is why I end up working a lot with imposter syndrome, because that's about changing how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself. It is possible to do that. So if you're struggling with imposter syndrome now, I hope that somewhere in that it's helped you to understand where it may have come from and that it doesn't mean at all that you are a fraud. Take care.